We have taken decision to clear this interim report of the Backward Classes Commission in Karnataka. We have, in principle, we have accepted the report of the Backward Classes Commission.
It is not very clear. They're just trying to give us a carrot at the time of the election. We know, as per the Supreme Court judgment, there are a lot of issues and confusion. All communities have been demanding for as per their population.
Hello and welcome to News Epicenter with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. Our top story is the political firestorm that has erupted in the state of Karnataka, ladies and gentlemen, where a big move by the Bommai government coming right ahead of the elections. The BJP government has given in to the pressure of the Vokaliga and the Lingayats and has boosted their quota status. Karnataka's Home Minister has said that the quota for both communities will be balanced with the quota for the economically weaker sections, and 2 new categories will be created for them. This is the pitch coming in from the state government. Now, politics, as I was saying, has erupted over the move. Congress and the JDS have called it a desperate move ahead of the elections. KPCC Chief DK Shivakumar, speaking exclusively to CNN News 18, has said that the quota benefits should not be diluted for other communities.
This is going to be a historical decision. This is a revolutionary decision, and this is going to be, appreciated by one and all of this Karnataka state. It is very much legally possible, legally tenable, and socially it was very much required. Of course, it is feasible. This is done in accordance with the report of the backward commission.
We have taken decision to clear this interim report of the Backward Classes Commission in Karnataka. We have, in principle, we have accepted the report of the Backward Classes Commission, in where they have stated both 3A and 3B has to be closed and they have to be brought under the 2 and category 2. So they have created 2C and 2D. They have also put a rider class condition that 2A and 2B shall not be touched. We are taking consideration to EWS scheme, where we have got another 10% quota for economically weaker section people. So in our view, we will not get so much of population in Karnataka to give 10% of the reservation there. We will be saving some quota there. That quota will be proportionately given to 3C and D.
How would you respond to this move by the Karnataka government to accord reservation to Lingayat community, where they're trying to create a separate clause as 2C and 2D?
See, it is not very clear. They're just trying to give us a carrot at the time of the election. We know, as per the Supreme Court judgment, there are a lot of issues and confusion. All communities have been demanding for as per their population. So what they are trying to break out, let the government come out with the clarity, then we are going to react.
Because what they have said is that they're going to move some of the castes, like the Lingayats and the Vokaligas, and there won't be any 3A and 3B categories. They'll be moved to 2C and 2D categories.
We don't want any community to be affected out of it. What the demand is, as per the population, all communities have been demanding. We don't want to disturb any of the existing reservation, whatever they have. At the same time, there is no clarity in it. That is why we are just seeking for clarification, then we are going to react on it.
But if there is a provision for Lingayats to get a quota or reservation, would you welcome it or would you challenge?
See, I'm telling you, I don't want to react immediately. Let me have a clarity in it. See, I'm a political head. Though I belong to a different one community, a Vokaliga community, I don't want, it is not only me. My party stand should be very clear that justice should be given to everyone. That is our utmost importance.
Let's get to our guest. I'm joined by Dr. Narendra Rangappa, BJP spokesperson, as well as Sanket Yanagi, KPCC spokesperson on the broadcast. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on CNN News 18. Now, Mr. Rangappa, I want to come to you first with this big move coming in from your government right ahead of the elections. Was this purely a political calculation to ensure that the Lingayats and the Vocaligas push you to victory in the next elections?
Definitely not. This has been a long-standing demand by these two communities. So earlier governments led by the Congress, JDS were totally inactive and they were insensitive to the issue. So after the Bharatiya Janata Party government has been taken over, led by Mr. Bommai, we have proactively taken a step forward and see to that these economically weaker sections are given justice in the field of education and employment. So it is definitely a social step, a moral step for BJP, so that they are showing that we have been proactive in doing social service and service to the society, whereas the Congress and the JDS governments have been sleeping over it. So there is no question of any appeasement or anything. It is a long-standing demand that should have been done long back, and we have done it now.
Right, but Mr. Rangappa, we were listening to Mr. Madhuswamy, who said that in Karnataka, you may not find enough people to fill the 10% EWS quota gap. That is why you're adjusting that into the quota for the Vokalingas and the Lingayat. Have you thought through this entire calculation?
We have gone through the calculations, and according to the 103, amendment number 103 of Article 15 and 16, we have economically weaker section reservation of 9.5%. And when we have moved this 3A to 2C and 3D to 2D, they carry their respective reservations with them to that particular category. And the rest of the leftover reservation in EWS will be adjusted to this. So according to the interim report now, we have moved them to 2D and 2C.
Yeah.
So we will announce the reservations pakka percentage after the commission gives its final report.
Right. So still more calculations are left. That's what you're pointing out. It's still a work in progress at the end of the day. I want to get a reaction from the Congress spokesperson. Sir, your reaction, Mr. Yanagi, that the BJP is saying you've been sleeping over this issue for so many years. They are finally delivering this social justice to Vocaligas and the Lingayats. Obviously, it's coming right ahead of the election, but they're saying better late than never.
So BJP is in power since 2020, and now they are 2019. Now, at the time of elections, they want to push it forward, and they know that it is an inexecutable one. And their attempt is only to destabilize the issues of concerning the reservation. That is one aspect. And the second aspect being, it is just a political gimmick. They also know that they cannot destabilize 10% reservation, which is the reservation which is available for the economically weaker section. They are trying to touch that, which is a danger corner. Second thing is, they were not serious at any point of time till December 2022, and now they are talking much about the social justice. Which social justice they are talking about, I don't know. They have opposed the reservation per se at the first stage. And now the next point is, this is a decision taken in haste. And there are several lacunas, as I understand as a lawyer, there are several lacunas in the following of the legal procedures. So I doubt as to whether it would sustain in the court of law or not, because of non-following of the mandatory requirement of law. And the next matter is, the matter is already pending before the High Court, wherein the commission whether has a power to give an interim report or not, and whether that interim report has a statutory requirement or a statutory recognition to deal with it in an ad hoc manner or not. Those are the questions pending before the court.
Right.
So that all being the questions already being debated in the court of law, the interpretation of the scheme, interpretation of the interim report, acceptability and admissibility of the interim report is already the subject matter for adjudication before the court of law. The decision taken by the government in haste does not have the valid sanctity of law. And I would say this is just an eyewash for the purpose of election, election gimmick, and nothing to nothing fruitful is going to be done by the government. It is just a gimmick and nothing more than that. And we don't appreciate such gimmicks. And if at all the government is very serious, let it push forward to the central government by providing a separate reservations without violating the Indra Sawhney guidelines. So I would say it is just a gimmick, nothing more importance to be given to this.
Right. So you're saying that nothing tangible will come out of this entire push from the BJP because of all the legal hurdles that this decision has posed. That's the pitch coming in from the Congress party. Mr. Rangappa, how do you respond to that?
See, the Congress party is always a bad loser. Instead of being happy for crores of people who will be receiving advantage from these change in the reservation categories, they are showing a defeatist attitude and grumbling over it and pointing fingers to the other side. I think they should come out of it, be sportive, accept the fact that Bharatiya Janata Party has worked for the social justice of people of Karnataka, and you also come and enjoy the celebrations. Why are you so disappointed? Are you not happy that Lingayats will get an increase in their reservation? Are you not happy Vokkaligas also will get the increase in reservation? What is the meaning of this? Politics, yes, we agree. But when certain things which is going to help the society, which is going to help the development of people, which will enable the poor to get educated better, get a better employment opportunities, why should they not be happy instead of being a defeatist attitude and grumble over it?
But specifically on that point that this entire move of your government will be tied up in the courts. How do you respond to that?
Sir, we have done within the legal framework of the Constitution of India.
Right.
So we can give a reservation of around 50% to OBC or BCM, whatever it may be called so. And again, we have a EWS of 9.5% under the amendment of Article 15, 16, that is 103rd Amendment. So what is illegal here? There is nothing illegal. This is the defeatist attitude that you point fingers that it is hodgepodge, whereas we have done it totally constitutional. It is going to be enforced and it shall be enforced.
Also, I want to bring this point as well that you have now introduced two more categories in category 2. Yeah, that's 2C and 2D for the Lingayats and the Vokkaligas. Your 2A category is presently made up of 102 occupational subcastes. Do you think that you won't be diluting the entire quota process by doing this?
No, not at all. Not at all. We are not going to touch 2A and 2B. Whatever will be carried by the 3A to 2C and 3D to 2D will be around 4% for the 3A and 5% for 2C. Then along with that, depending upon the final recommendation of the commission, we will take a percentage from the EWS and give it to these two categories.
Right. Right. So you worked out all the math in this case. I want to give the final word to the Congress spokesperson, Mr. Yanagi. What do you have to say? The BJP is saying they are ready for all legal challenges. They have done all their due diligence when it comes to rolling out this very important step when it comes to the social justice for the Vokkaligas and the Lingayats.
Whoever is deserving, they should be given reservation benefit, and we are not opposing anyone. We support the move by the government, but we doubt about their sensitivity, we doubt about their integrity, we doubt about their seriousness in the matter because of ignorance of the legal requirements and the legal procedures. But what we want is, while giving the reservation which are already being provided to others should also be managed and balanced.
Right.
What we are trying to express our concern is that while you make out a chart for giving reservation to one, do not destabilize others. If you are really concerned, make a separate provision. You have a central government, you claim that you have a double engine government. Get the other engine also attached to this and see that it is passed through a constitutional amendment and such other steps be taken in furtherance of it. If at all you are serious and seriously concerned about the sentiments of the people who have been suffering for the reservation. But I would say, and we would support the state government's move if at all it is very serious in this case. But I would only say, all of a sudden they wake up in one night, that too in the December 2022, when the elections are nearing, they lost the hopes of winning any election or contesting even the elections with a good support of the people. And all of a sudden they turn around and say, look, we are giving a reservation and we have done social justice. It is not a social justice. Social justice is not just the reservation. Social justice is also peace and harmony in the state where there is a failure of the law and order in the state. Everything the government is accountable. Not just by reservation they can claim that they are doing justice to the people. It is not. It is one part of it. It is not extreme and it is not absolute. It is not everything.
Absolutely.
But social justice should be given in all the aspects which the government has ignored. Just by reservation they can't say that they have done justice to the people.
Absolutely. Mr. Yanage, Mr. Rangappa, we'll leave that for the campaign trail ahead of the Karnataka elections, where both of you can make your pitch. Now, let's shift focus to another flashpoint that has emerged across the country, primarily when it comes to the crackdown on the PFI, which continues to expand primarily in the state of Kerala. As we shift focus to debate 2, the crackdown on the PFI is only expanding, ladies and gentlemen, where the National Investigation Agency has carried out raids at multiple locations in God's own country. The central agency raided over 50 locations across the state, cracking down on secondary leaders of the banned outfit. The raids were carried out in 12 districts at the residences of the members of the State Executive Committee and the zonal heads of the PFI. The NIA has said that the searches have led to the recovery and the seizure of weapons, incriminating material, as well as digital devices. That's what the pitch is coming in from the NIA. Now remember, this comes after multi-agency teams spearheaded by the NIA arrested several functionaries, including top leaders of the radical outfit, in September on charges of supporting terror activities across the country. Now, several PFI workers have been charged under the UAPA, and the PFI Nexus, however, is still trying to be active even after the historic ban. The big question we are asking today is, why should we oppose a total crackdown on the PFI when the top investigation agency of this nation has time and again called it a threat to national security? Let's get to our guests. I'm joined by Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, as well as Vivek Srivastav, political analyst, as well as Majid Haidari, senior journalist. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on CNN News 18 for this discussion. Dr. Vikram Singh, I want to come to you first as a lawman, as someone who knows the ins and outs of the entire law and order machinery. Now, in fact, banning an organization like the PFI is of course, the first step. But what we are learning is that the nexus is so widespread, especially in Kerala, where the radical activities have been centralized. What more will it take for us to completely dismantle this organization, which multiple agencies have said is a massive threat to national security? Have we just started? Have we just scratched the surface by calling for a national ban?
Indeed, we have. This has been a reasonable beginning, but I would not say a satisfactory beginning. I would not grade it as outstanding. But yes, a beginning has been made after a long time. We have been blaming this organization even before the CAA agitation started. But banning an organization is indeed the first step. And the big battle begins now to identify the cadres, confiscate all their movable and immovable assets, and also all these diehards of the Simi called Ansars, who migrated from Simi to other outfits, and also the PFI, they need to be identified. And those who advocated 2047 as the year when India becomes an Islamic state, as also they were able to be successful in radicalizing no fewer than almost 700 policemen and officers of the Kerala police, and who were supplying vital information, including those vulnerable in various political outfits perceived to be adversaries of the PFI. Now, under these circumstances, when they had the audacity to chop off the hands of a professor, or perhaps pelt stones, call for a ban when the ban happened, get undisclosed funds from abroad, naturally, a resolute state like India must ban them, decimate them, and the earlier it's done, the better. And those who oppose the banning, they need to search why are they supporting an organization that is brazenly communal and anti-national, because there is no scope of this kind of an organization existing in our vibrant democracy, who is basically and rabidly communal.
Right. And Dr. Singh, I want to ask you, when it comes to coordinating between state agencies as well as central agencies, in your opinion, is any kind of hindrance purely political?
You said it. Many of the states are perceived to be politically opposed to banning. And what you have heard from various senior politicians, they are banned because they belong to Muslims. Muslims are an equal partner in the growth and the democratic fabric of this country. And to say that only the PFI is the brand ambassador of the Muslims, but nothing would be farther than the truth. But appeasement politics of several states has stood between a firm action, a deterrent action, because what would have happened? Look, there have been PFI rallies in Kerala and Rajasthan, but nothing like this, no misadventure like this happened where the administration was firm. I would expect from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, a resolute nation gives a befitting reply to all who feel that they can get away with this kind of nonsensical humbug of absolute crass communalism.
Right. Vivek Srivastava, I want to get your opinion on this. Raids across 56 locations in God's own country. Would you say the left is guilty of appeasement politics when it comes to shielding the PFI?
No, absolutely not. I have a lot of respect for Vikram Singh ji, and he's a very senior officer, and we have been together on many occasions in various debates, and a lot of respect for his experience. However, I mean, he speaks like an officer because he has been an officer. I speak like a politician because I believe in a different thing. I believe I have studied the Punjab problem. I have seen the Nagaland problem, the Tamil Eelam problem, Ulfa. I mean, we are a complex country. We are a big country. We are a diverse country. And we have had similar problems in the past years also. Punjab problem, if you study, Commissioner Rabiro was the first person from Mumbai, ex-commissioner, who came and tried to handle it out. Later on, it was KPS Gill who was given the credit for sort of dismantling the terrorist network over there. But that is not the end of the story. The complete story is that massive confidence-building measures were given to the youth who had left the mainstreams. Yes. They were given jobs. I mean, guilty policemen who had done wrong things. They were brought to the book. And the people of Punjab, the Sikh population, people who had stopped believing in the Indian Constitution, were convinced that this is your nation. You should love your nation and be with the Constitution. So, I mean, Simi was there. Simi was doing something wrong. We banned it. Then PFI sprung up. Today we are banning PFI. Fine, ban it. There is no issue about it. However, this is half the story. The full story will be when you build confidence building measures, when you talk to people, when you come to some conclusion as to why something like PFI came up in the first place, with people like Pragya Thakur, who were giving sweeping statements about having kitchen knives so that you can attack the minority communities. You know, it is but natural that many youth and many students who belong to the minority community, they become very vulnerable. They are very vulnerable, and anything wrong from the enemy countries, you know, people who come and try to.
So, Mr. Srivastava, I just want to ask this point. Yeah. This notion of confidence building measures, are you squarely putting the responsibility of that on the central government, not the state government?
No, I mean, see, let's be very clear. Now, when you are talking of foreign agencies, when you are talking of foreign powers, when you are saying that certain neighbors who are inimical to us, and then when you say that there is money coming from abroad, then the role of the center agency increases manifold. It does not limit to a small state like Kerala, okay? And it's a very small state. It has got a very small population. So now when you are, the question is not, nobody supports Islamic terrorism. PFI, rightly said by Vikram Singh ji, is not the brand ambassador of the Muslims. PFI doesn't represent the Muslims. I mean, I don't think even more than 90% of the Muslims of this nation, I mean, 1947, they lived with us because they believe in us. They believe that they are comfortable and safe with the majority Hindus. So, I mean, it is not the question of appeasement politics.
Right, but you would agree that this problem would get solved a little faster if there was better cooperation between the state and the central governments.
No, absolutely. I stand because I think that the federal structure of the constitution should be respected. And as a state government, we respect it. And we expect the center also not to have a very diverse point of view if the states are being ruled by opposition parties. They should consider the opposition ruled states also in the same way as they are treating the BJP ruled states. So once you start looking at various states with a different eye, automatically problems start. We have to beg for our funds. we need to ask for money whenever
Right. I mean,
calamities come.
I think we're moving away from the crux of the topic. I want to get Sanjay Rana on this as well. Mr. Rana, at least 149 people from Kerala joined the ISIS, and the PFI has been named by the NIA as the organization which has been spreading that propaganda across the state. Now, when it comes to this kind of a crackdown of 56 locations in the small state of Kerala, it seems the activities have been centralized in that state. If anything, can we look at this entire case beyond the realm of some level of political patronage from the state government?
Hi, Ayushman. Good evening to you and good evening to my fellow panelists. Absolutely, I'm making a right statement why it's happening, and we need to understand whether it's a PFI or any anti-national activity is happening in Kerala, why it's happening. If you look at, go a few years back, most of the guys were moving and joining ISI. What was the reason behind it? It's a radicalization, and people are, brainwashing the people. PFI kind of people or any agency, these kind of agency, brainwashing all the youths of the Kerala, especially talking about Muslim youth. So why it's happening? It's it's a lack of coordination between the state and the state. We have been passing, but take it as a opposition state, passing a blame on center, and center is obviously center want to support, but they are stuck. Local government, local body has to perform the job. But what exactly happening in our country, as I was listening to Mr. DGP saying, is he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
The people are appeasing. People are just supporting the few fundamentalists, few radicalized parties for the vote bank, which is not good for federal structure, which is not good for our country. So it's very, very important when we talk about the country, when we talk about our nation, that we need to come out from the vote politics and appeasement politics. We need to look at what is the country is all about. If the country is there, then we are there. Our name will be there. Therefore, it's important for all the opposition party or whosoever. Maybe we have a different viewpoint, maybe we have a different ideology. Forget about everything. When you talk about the India as a country, then we need to look as an Indian, try to find out why it's happening. If you look at 56 location, very small state, why it's happening? Why it's not happening in Uttar Pradesh? I'm sorry, I'm not agree with my friend Vivek making the statement. It's depend upon how governing bodies governing, how local intelligence are providing information. If you're giving a loophole, if you're not taking a proper action in local level, then obviously it's going to be a volcano and it's going to be chaos for the country. PFI is one of the organizations, Ayushman. Maybe tomorrow, if you're banning PFI today and tomorrow somebody else is going to come up and you're going to give a new name, I'm going to take another 30 seconds. But why? But what do you need to understand? I was hearing Mr. Singh's comment.
Right.
Who is supporting? If somebody is supporting them, whosoever I'm taking, whether it's a political party or individual or any organization, we need to punish them equally too. Because these kind of people are supporting and somehow, somewhere, they are working as an anti-national agenda.
Absolutely.
Which is not good for
that
nation of
point
India.
comes up at the end of the day, because how is something like an organization of such a magnitude mushrooming in a small state like Kerala? Majid Haidari, do you draw similar parallels to Kashmir? Because at the end of the day, these things cannot exist without political patronage, and which is why the NIA has to step in to conduct these raids to take out the second rung, because it seems that the state machinery is not doing enough to crack down, not only when it comes to the tangible infrastructure, but even in the battle for hearts and minds.
Well, see, fighting terror needs to be definitely our collective concern. I purely agree with Honorable Vikram Sahabji when he says that there is a political element of political appeasement, which is preventing a full crackdown on terror. As we have seen that the petition filed by Yashwant Shinde with regard to who is a champion of bomb making, no action is being taken on that. Neither the CBI is initiating any action, nor NIA, nor the Maharashtra government for that matter. And then when we look at how one of the major terror accused from the Saffron side, who is now into kind of asking people of particular community to sharpen their knives and giving some very volatile kind of comments, and she happens to come from a terror background, and no action is being taken against her. So there is definite appeasement, political appeasement towards one side of terror, and that is being totally ignored, and which is not right for the country. Because terror is terror, it does not have religion, it does not have any social binding. We need to fight it collectively and without a bias. But unfortunately, as of now, the central government and the state governments, as is happening in Maharashtra or in Madhya Pradesh or elsewhere where we have BJP-ruled government, it's not being taken care of, and Vikram Sarji is really right on that we have a political appeasement, and that is surely coming from one particular caller which believes in this communal kind of political ideology, and they want to victimize one particular community in the garb of terror excuses. That is all I want.
So you're saying that the PFI this crackdown on the PFI is a witch hunt? Just to sum up what you're saying.
No, not on. See, that's all the way debatable, because the ban on PFI is not a court verdict. It's an administrative order, which is all the way challengeable, and maybe it could be having some elements of bias, as we have seen, as I told you about Yashwant Sindh's petition. You don't act on that petition, but you act only about one particular community. So that sends a signal that government is biased in its action on terror, and we.
No, I'm particularly asking you about the PFI. Are you telling me this entire action against the PFI is just a witch hunt?
No, when you see that NIA is not working properly, the CBI is not working properly, the petitions being filed before magistrates are being ignored. So we can't really trust these investigative agencies.
So you can't trust the investigative agencies and what they've told the higher authorities.
Yes.
Sanjay Rana, Sanjay Rana, you can respond to that, and then I'll give the final word to Vikram Singh.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to respond to Majid Hydari. It is very surprising whenever you ask this kind of question in political debate, people will come up and they raise only on Sadhvi Pragya. If you look at when it's happened, saffron terrorism happened in 2008, and obviously till 2014, the Congress government were there, and they've tried hard to prove that whether it's happened or not happened. So there was no proof. This was just they were in jail without any proper charge sheet, any proof. So if we are passing or trying to hide our weaknesses behind someone, is not looks good, because you are trying to, comparing Sadhvi Pragya with the PFI. Please understand, Sadhvi Pragya is not harming country. She's not harming any individual. She's not harming harmony of the country. Please, there is a difference between the PFI, ISI, and Boko Haram. Some leader obviously made the statement that Hindus saffron terror is equivalent to ISI and Boko Haram. Please understand, where the saffron terror is created a construct world of opposition party.
No, saffron terror is also a reality.
Vivek bhai, are you listening to this?
My dear friend, there's no saffron terror.
Saffron terror is also a reality, sir.
Majid bhai, tell me, in this world, give me 10 seconds. In this world, show me a single example where saffron terror has created and killed the people. You are not able to give me a single answer.
Right from your boycott.
Mr. Rana, I think I'll let Mr. Srivastav respond. Mr. Srivastav, please respond.
I'll just take 10 seconds. There is a saffron terror. There was a saffron terror. Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, first of all, no, sir, please. Now it's my time. First of all, she endorsed Godse openly. The Prime Minister was upset but did not take an action. Now it is keeping knives and trying to attack the Muslims. Very clearly, that is what she's talking about. Forget about her. The boycott gang of the Bollywood, the way people are being targeted, artists are being targeted, mob lynchings have been done, masjids are being questioned, court cases are being filed. Okay, what is all this? This is another form of saffron terror. So you are trying to give, a second-rate citizenship to the minorities, and it is the truth.
Right. I think we're going off track now. I think we're going off track. The usual talking points when it comes to cracking down on terror have come to the fore again. Vikram Singh, I want to give you the final word as a lawman. When it comes to circumventing politics to ensure national security, it is a huge challenge. What message would you give to the political class?
I would say that there is a lot of merit in what Mr. Vivek Srivastava said, that confidence-building measures, collective responsibility of the state and the center, as also the guilty policeman motivation. There should be zero tolerance as far as guilty policemen fake encounters are concerned. There is also a lot of depth in what Mr. Majid Hydari Sahab has said, that there is no scope in our democracy for hate speeches. And Tehseen Poonawalla versus Union of India, The Supreme Court has said that do not wait for the complainant to come, take action suo moto. Let us also have zero tolerance on hate speech as well. And in the collective war against terror and fundamentalism, Mr. Vivek Srivastava, Majid Hydari Sahab, Sanjay, you and I, the entire nation has to stand together.
Absolutely.
And nobody has the right to say that Muslims are the second favorite. Yes, there are two major communities in the country, Hindus and Muslims, and together we will fight terrorism.
Right. Dr. Vikram Singh, Sanjay Rana, Vivek Srivastava, Majid Hydari, thank you for joining us for this debate when it comes